One of 17 Sustainable Development Goals established by the United Nations General Assembly in 2015 with the official wording of ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. Did you know before COVID-19 pandemic hits worldwide, 2.2 billion people lack in safe drinking water and 4.2 billion people lack in safe sanitation ever since 2017. The implication of COVID-19 have made 3 billion people worldwide lack in basic hand washing facilities at home. This case can be related with the water disruption that occur in Klang Valley area, or more specifically Klang, due to river pollution, as we all are well aware that good hygiene is the most effective method for COVID-19 prevention. Water disruption has caused over 861 residential and industrial areas, and this problem has prevented availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation. Mainly, water disruption here were caused by excessive waste and oil spillage in the river. If you are wondering what are the sources of water pollution, unsurprisingly, human activity is primarily responsible for water pollution. Even if natural phenomena such as landslides and floods can also contribute to degrade the water quality. So, I went to Sungai Klang to do some investigating and monitoring the situation. As you can see, we can still spot floating rubbish, oil or chemical spillage, and even algae. This will not only lead to dirty water supply but also will create horrid smell and increase the reproduction of Aedes. These causes of water pollution are clearly from domestic waste, food processing waste, heavy metals, chemicals waste, and others. Factories are also a major contributing factor to water pollution, not just in Malaysia but across the globe. The illegal dumping of contaminated water chemicals, metals, or radioactive materials into waterways cause damage to marine life and the environment as a whole. This may be due to several companies that did not adopting the ISO 14000 certificate. The environmental awareness and the documentation that are required by the ISO 14000 standard assist a company in confirming the environmental regulations. This means that a company, by diligently adhering to the standard, is less likely to violate environmental regulations and is always ready for inspection by a regulatory agency. In addition, their certification and documentation may aid a company in acquiring capital, in defending itself during environmental litigation, and in receiving insurance or permits. By concerning environmental performance, companies characterized by adopting ISO 14000 and at the same time monitoring their environmental activities are more likely to have improvements in their impact on the environment, compared to companies that align the adoption of the standard and allow monitoring or do not adopt ISO 14000 and manage the environmental monitoring. In my humble opinion, we could not blame the citizen entirely because what is the use of government with acts if no action is taken? As we can see, there are no signage as a warning to not dump waste inside the river, or in the other term, there are lack in initiative to keep the river clean. To overcome this problem, we can propose a solution from two perspectives, which is engineering and non-engineering solution. Engineering solutions to reduce and overcome water pollution are by making a proper sewage in wastewater treatment. Wastewater treatment, also called sewage treatment, is the removal of impurities from wastewater or sewage before it reaches aquifer or natural bodies of water such as rivers, lakes, estuaries, and oceans. Since pure water is not found in nature, any distinction between clean water and polluted water depends on the type and concentration of impurities found in the water, as well as on its intended use. In broad terms, water is said to be polluted when it contains enough impurities to make it unfit for a particular use, such as drinking, swimming, or fishing. Although water quality is affected by natural conditions, the word pollution usually implies human activity as the source of contamination. Water pollution, therefore, is caused primarily by the drainage of contaminated wastewater the surface water or groundwater and wastewater treatment is a major element of water pollution control. There are two types of wastewater or sewage, which is domestic sewage and industrial sewage. Most urban regions around the world are served by domestic sewer system that collect sewer waste to a central collection point for treatment, after which it is emptied into rivers to undergo biological breakdown. In the developed world, the treatment processes have been perfected through well-engineered operation systems. However, the system only clean about 90% of the sewage pollutant load. As a way of reducing the pollution load to zero, there is a need for the more advanced engineered cleaning process. Some developed worlds have sewage treatment plants with extra system for eliminating pathogens and nutrients. Malaysia should emulate this strategy to reduce sewage pollution loads to zero. This also includes continued maintenance, including replacement and repair of leaking and faulty sewage processing infrastructure. Improving stormwater management is the effort to reduce runoff of rainwater into streets, lawns, and other sites, and the improvement of water quality. It is important to avoid pollutants from contaminating the water and helps to use water more efficiently. Sewage management should also incorporate treatment and cleaning of stormwater runoff that contains various contaminants, a commonly neglected aspect in developing and some developed nations. Industrial facilities generate loads of wastewater containing high concentrations of conventional water pollutants like oil, petroleum, hydrocarbons, toxic chemical compounds, heavy metals, and other contaminants such as ammonia. Some power plants also release heat wastewater into water bodies, interfering with the normal water temperatures. Reducing the water pollution effects caused by industries thus require well-designed treatment and water cooling systems. As much as industries have these specialized waste treatment systems, a good number of industries have poorly maintained systems and some entirely lack quality treatment protocols. The installation of pre-treatment facilities and adoption of quality waste treatment protocols can extensively help to eliminate the toxic contaminants. Therefore, all manufacturing industries should assure they have a well-designed treatment facility that can prevent water pollution by cooling, treating, and removing all the toxic components of the waste discharged into water bodies. As for non-engineering solution, anti-pollution laws and regulations at local, state, and international levels are a perfect measures for curtailing water pollution. Laws have always played an excellent role to ensure water pollution levels are kept to a minimum. Environmental protection policies such as the Clean Water Act work to ensure that anti-pollution laws are effective and applied to all significant waters, including groundwater. Anti-pollution laws can as well establish measures that put restriction for top water pollution problems such as sewage and industrial waste treatments and garbage management. These laws should be directed to marketplace, industries, hospitals, schools, and the local councils. There are immeasurable ways individuals and groups can take initiative or educate people on the dangers of water pollution. It is always a great starting point as a means of fighting the wider causes of water pollution. Individuals and groups aware of the danger of water pollution can educate family, friends, and even the society as a whole through joint campaigns and advocacy. Examples include the use of media, institutions, and online educative forums. Educative topics can include the need to use waste bins by never throwing rubbish into riversides, beaches, or water bodies. Besides, use of water can also reduce the amount of wastewater that will require treatment. And next, avoiding throwing of oils, paints, chemicals, and medicines in sink, drain, or toilet can as well contribute to reducing the dangers of water pollution. Waste consumer products and utilities such as drugs, battery cells, and other chemical wastes can be disposed at designated disposal points where the relevant authorities can collect and dispose them effectively. Last but not least is the use of more environmentally friendly consumer products at home and in public places can also considerably relieve the pollution burden. Water is a key resource for our quality of life. It also provides natural habitats and ecosystem for plant and animal species. Access to clean water for drinking and sanitary purposes is a precondition for human health and well-being. Clean, unpolluted water is essential for our ecosystems. Plants and animals in lakes, rivers, and seas react to changes in their environment caused by changes in chemical water quality and physical disturbance of their habitat. More and more countries, including Malaysia, are experiencing water stresses, and increasing drought and desertification is already worsening these trends. By 2050, it is projected that at least 1 in 4 people will suffer recurring water shortage. That is why it is important to give and spread awareness to humankind to protect our waterways from pollution. If one person starts to do it, they surely will have a follower. By this, with the solution proposed, we could achieve Sustainable Development Goals 6.